Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And my warm greetings to one and all of you, dear devotees, friends and well-wishers. 60 years ago, on a crisp September day of 1965, a lone elderly sannyasi stepped into the shores of Boston Harbor from a cargo ship Jaladuta. He had little more than a trunk full of his Srimad Bhagavatam commentaries, $8, and an unshakable faith in the spiritual master's command to spread the message of Krishna consciousness to the Western world. Imagine the scene: a bustling foreign land, a completely different culture, and Srila Prabhupada, then known as Abhay Charanaravindha Bhaktivedanta Swami, standing alone. He felt a profound sense of humility but a firm faith in the words of his spiritual master. He shares his emotions in a prayer that Srila Prabhupada penned on his ship just on arrival at Boston. Srila Prabhupada wrote in his diary, "Most of the people here are covered by passion and ignorance. They think themselves satisfied in material life, but they have no taste for hearing the transcendental message of Vasudeva." It was in that moment of profound surrender to Lord Krishna. He further writes, "How will they understand the mellows of devotion service? Oh Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I'll be able to convince them about your message." Looking out at the vast ocean and the towering city, what Srila Prabhupada penned in his prayer, that has become the very seed of our worldwide Hare Krishna movement. He further writes, "Oh Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance as you like." Srila Prabhupada's mission was clear and twofold: to spread the sublime message of Krishna consciousness throughout the Western world, and simultaneously to strengthen and revive India's eternal Vedic dharmic culture. His boundless compassion drove him to bring the mercy of the Supreme Lord to every soul on this earth. He further writes in his prayers, "Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. Then, when they hear, everyone's grief and misery will be relieved." Srila Prabhupada couldn't see the sufferings of the jivas in this world, and he had complete faith in the holy name and the miracles that Nama Prabhu can create in their lives. Therefore, with humility and unshakable faith, he writes, "I have no devotion, no knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta. Now please make this title meaningful." Srila Prabhupada was surrendered entirely and ready for the holy name to expand his Leela through him. Srila Prabhupada didn't come with a grand detailed plan, but he knew that only time stood between him and the success of his mission to fulfill the order of his Guru by the costless mercy of the holy names. He was a personification of Lord Chaitanya's compassion. By his spiritual potency, he invoked the powerful manifestations of the spiritual world in hundreds of sacred spaces, which were the temples he set up on the earth, which he called as embassies of Vaikuntha on earth. These embassies became centers of mercy from the spiritual world in the form of his books, Prasadam, and the holy names of Krishna. In fact, his books are the incarnations on this earth of the vibrations of the spiritual world. He demonstrated the sanctifying power of the holy names of Krishna and that of Krishna Prasadam. These were not just physical objects or buildings or ordinary food. They were different incarnations of the Lord and his spiritual energies from this transcendental world, designed to awaken the dormant love of Krishna in every heart. Today, to honor his sacrifice, compassion, and unwavering dedication to his Guru, let us reflect on the 3 decades he spent preparing for his historic arrival in Boston in 1965. Srila Prabhupada, in his first meeting in the year 1922 with his spiritual master Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He received the instruction to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in the West. Again, in a letter addressed to his spiritual master in 1936, he earnestly inquired, "How can I serve you more?" He got a clear letter in reply stating, "Preach in English and that will be your greatest service." And this final instruction of his Guru became deeply rooted in Srila Prabhupada's heart. Years passed, but this order of his Guru seemed never to fade away from his mind. He always kept thinking how to make the order of my spiritual master a reality. Then in 1944, he started the Back to Godhead magazine with the sole mission of educating people on life's true purpose. He single-handedly wrote, edited and distributed it, even pleading with the government for paper to continue printing. Srila Prabhupada didn't stop right there. While printing the magazine over the years, he also continuously wrote letters to almost every prominent leader of that time, like Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru, and many more, requesting them to come forward and support the preaching of the glorious message of Gita. But no one seemed to listen. What to speak of the outside world? Even his own wife was not ready to follow the Vaishnava principles. This became the turning point in his life. He realized that the desire of his Guru would never be fulfilled if he continued to be a householder. Then one day he just left his family and home, knowing that he would never return. In 1952, through his tireless work, he founded the League of Devotees in Jhansi with a vision of reviving God consciousness in the society. But it did not last, as most participants lacked dedication. Undeterred, he decided to move permanently towards Vrindavan, the land of Krishna, and took shelter under the Radha Damodar temple to live a fully austere life and spend more time in reading and writing. In 1959, submitting to the will of his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada took sannyas and formally received the name Bhaktivedanta Swami and fully dedicated himself to translating and commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam. Taking the desire of his spiritual master as his life and soul, he continued writing letters, seeking people's support to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to the West. With persistent effort, he finally got a ticket to America. Having strong faith in the holy name of Krishna, at the age of 69, with just 40 rupees, a suitcase and several boxes of books, Srila Prabhupada embarked on his long-awaited journey to the West in a cargo ship, Jaladuta, in 1965. It was never an easy journey for Srila Prabhupada on the ship. It was his first time on a ship, and there was also no one to take care of him. He constantly suffered from seasickness, dizziness, and even vomiting. Above all these struggles, Srila Prabhupada also suffered 2 heart attacks in the middle of the sea. And amidst all this, Srila Prabhupada also felt deep separation from Vrindavan and Lord Krishna. After 37 days of perilous journey, on September 17, 1965, the cargo ship Jaladuta finally reached the shores of the West. For most people, it was just another ship arriving at Boston Harbor. But in truth, it was the arrival of an empowered saint, a pure soul, who out of his boundless compassion had endured all hardships and persevered alone for decades, just to bring the timeless wisdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a message of love and devotion that the world desperately needed. So today, 60 years later, what has blossomed from that one simple surrendered prayer? We see temples on every continent, millions of books distributed, and countless lives transformed. What began as a single seed has become a vast spiritual forest. Globally, the Hare Krishna movement is a recognized force for spiritual upliftment, promoting peace, vegetarianism, and chanting the holy names. And here in Boston, the very place of his arrival, the Krishna consciousness movement continues to thrive, touching hearts and offering spiritual solace to every spiritual seeker of truth. Yet, we must also acknowledge that much remains to be done by us to fulfill the spiritual ambitions of Srila Prabhupada. There are countless hearts waiting to be touched by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada on this earth. The world is in desperate need of the message of love and devotion to Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada made it clear in his letter of July 9, 1977 that every one of us who have taken shelter of his teachings are his disciples. This is not a mere title. That position is a profound responsibility towards the world teacher Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada. Every devotee is personally responsible for carrying his prayer forward, to be a puppet in the hands of Krishna, dancing as he desires through the instruction of his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. This means practically engaging in spiritual activities, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with sincerity, distributing his transcendental books, sharing Krishna Prasadam with others, and supporting Vedic education. These are the living forms of Srila Prabhupada's compassion, and we engaging in these services are expression of our gratitude to him. Today, we stand here not just as beneficiaries of Srila Prabhupada's incredible gift, but as the active carriers of his Boston Harbor prayer. The torch has been passed on to us. The responsibility is ours. Srila Prabhupada's only mission was to fulfill his spiritual master's mission. And our mission is only to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's mission. And thus the parampara continues. Each one of us must ask ourselves, how will I carry this forward? How will I become an instrument in the hands of the Lord to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission? Let us unite in the spirit of surrender and service. Let us internalize that humble prayer of Srila Prabhupada, just as Srila Prabhupada prayed in Boston Harbor. May we also pray today with all our hearts. O Krishna, make me dance in Srila Prabhupada's service as you like. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.